Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome to all of you in the virtual learning system of Pakistan International School Thai. This is grade 10. We are studying biology, chapter number 12. Today's our topic is types of neuron and central nervous system. Okay, let's start. Students, in our previous lecture, we have studied about neurons. And today we will study types of neurons on the basis of their function. There are three types of neurons: sensory neuron, interneuron, and motor neurons. Now, what about the sensory neuron? What is a sensory neuron? Sensory means, this name indicates sense. This name indicates sense, and sense means feeling. And these neurons are located on receptor organs. These neurons are located on receptor organs. And what is the function of these neurons? Sensory neurons. Sensory neurons receive sensory information from receptors to coordinators. And which one is the coordinator? That is central nervous system. Okay. And what is the structure of the sensory neurons? You can see also here this one. This is the sensory neuron. Its structure is, it has one dendrite and one axon. One dendrite and one axon. It is clear? Now number 2 is interneurons. Number 2 is interneuron. Now what is the function of the interneuron? Interneurons receive information from sensory neurons, interpret them, and stimulate motor neurons. Is it clear? This is here in between the sensory neurons and motor neurons. So what is the function of interneurons? It receives information from sensory neurons, interpret them, and then stimulate to motor neurons. Is it clear? Now, what is the structure of interneuron? Its structure is, consists of one one axon and many dendrites. It is clear? Interneuron, this is the structure of interneuron, one axon and many dendrites. Now, third one is motor neuron. This is the motor neuron. Now, what about the motor neuron? In our previous lecture, you have studied about this one. We studied neuron. That was motor neuron. That was motor neuron. And what is the function of the motor neuron? Here you can see, but it's not labeled. So its function is, it carry information from interneuron to effectors. Is it clear? Motor neurons carry information from interneurons to effectors. Now these effectors are muscles and glands. Is it clear? These are the types of neurons. Now next is nerve. What is a nerve? First of all, you should know about nerve. What is a nerve? A nerve means the union of several axons that are enveloped by a covering made up of myelin sheath. Is it clear? It is called nerve. Now there are three types of nerve. Number one is sensory nerves. And I told you before, what is a nerve? Union of several axons. So what is a sensory nerve? Sensory nerve contains the axons of only sensory neurons. Is it clear? Number two, motor nerve. Now what about the motor nerve? Motor nerve contains the axons of motor neurons. Now third one is mixed nerve. Third one is mixed nerve, and a mixed nerve contains the axons of both sensory neurons and motor neurons. Is it clear? Our next topic is division of the nervous system. Next topic is division of the nervous system. Nervous system, it is composed of two main parts or components, that is peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. Peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. And today we will study central nervous system in detail. Central nervous system, again, it is composed of two parts, two components, that are brain and spinal cord. Now, first about brain. Brain, again, it is divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Is it clear? Now let's start. What is a brain, a human brain? What is a brain? Brain is the control center of our body. Mean all the activities of our body is controlled by the brain. So you can say brain is the control center of our body, and you can define it. Brain is an organ of soft nervous tissue contained in the skull of vertebrates, functioning as the coordinating center of the body. Is it clear? Now, where it is located? Brain is located or situated in a bony cranium. That bony cranium is a part of a skull. And where is skull? In our head. Is it clear? When brain is situated inside a bony cranium, and what is the bony cranium? It is a part of skull. Now, inside the brain, there are three main layers. These layers are called meninges. These three layers are called meninges. Now, brain, again, inside of the cranium, it is covered by three layers. These layers are called meninges. Now, what is the function of the meninges? Meninges protect brain and also provide food and oxygen to brain tissues through their capillaries. Is it clear? Now, like human heart, we know that brain has also consists of brain also has ventricles. Brain also has ventricles, and in these ventricles, cerebrospinal fluid is moving. Cerebrospinal fluid is moving. Is it clear? Now, cerebrum means cerebrum or brain, and spinal means spinal cord. It means in this fluid also move in both brain and the spinal cord. Is it clear? Now, divisions of the brain. Divisions of the brain or parts of the brain. Brain again divided into three main parts on the basis of their function and placement. And these three main parts are forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. First, let's see what is a forebrain. Now you can see, students, this is the structure of the human brain. This structure is given in your book, and here you can see whole structure of a brain mean all parts of the brain. I told you before, brain is divided into three parts. First one is forebrain, second is midbrain, and third is hindbrain. Now forebrain again divided into three parts: cerebrum, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Now what about the midbrain? Midbrain is located between the forebrain and hindbrain. And third one, this is the second one, midbrain, and third one is hindbrain. And hindbrain again divided into three parts. These parts are cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. Okay. Now first one is forebrain. First one is forebrain. Forebrain, it is the largest part of the brain, or you can say largest area of the brain is covered by forebrain, and it is mostly highly developed in humans, and it has three parts: cerebrum, thalamus, and limbic system. Now, what is a limbic system, or you can say it in third part is hypothalamus. Is it clear? Hypothalamus, because hypothalamus is a part of a limbic system. Limbic system is a set of structure in brain that deals with emotion and memory, and it has many parts. And out of the, it has three or four parts, I think. And out of these three parts, hypothalamus is one important part. Okay, so forebrain, it is divided into three main parts: cerebrum, thalamus, and hypothalamus or limbic system. Now let's see what is a thalamus. What is a thalamus? How is its structure and where it is located and what is its function? Now you can see this is the thalamus, and where it is located? It is located just below the cerebrum. This one you can see, this is the cerebrum. Thalamus is located below the cerebrum, and its function is it serves as a relay center between various parts of the brain and the spinal cord. Is it clear? And its function is it carries sensory impulses from whole body except from the nose, and then transfer or send them to the cerebrum. Is it clear? What is the function of the thalamus? It carries sensory information from whole body except from nose, and then to the cerebrum and limbic system. Now second part is hypothalamus. Second is second part of the forebrain is hypothalamus. Now, what is the location of hypothalamus? This one is hypothalamus. You can see below the thalamus. This one is thalamus, and this one is hypothalamus. Where it is located? It is located below the thalamus. And what is its function? What is its size? Its size is roughly is equal to the size of an almond. Okay, and it is the most important function. Its function is to link nervous system and endocrine system, how via pituitary gland. Now, what is a pituitary gland? Its structure, pituitary gland, its structure is it is a P-shaped structure, and its function is it helps in growth and reproduction. Is it clear? This is the hypothalamus. Now, next is cerebrum. Third part of the forebrain is cerebrum. And this is the largest part of forebrain. This is the largest part of forebrain. First, I told you about forebrain. Forebrain is the largest area of brain. But what about the cerebrum? Cerebrum is the largest part of the forebrain. And its function is it involves in thinking and also movement of skeletal muscle. Is it clear? And this cerebrum, you can see here, this is the cerebrum. This whole is cerebrum. And this cerebrum, it is divided into two parts or two halves. These are called cerebral hemispheres. Is it clear? These are called cerebral hemispheres. And each cerebral hemisphere, again, cerebral hemisphere again divided into two hemispheres that are called right cerebral hemispheres and left cerebral hemisphere. Now, what is the function of the right cerebral hemisphere? Right cerebral hemispheres control the left side of the body. And similarly, left cerebral hemisphere control the right side of the body. Is it clear? This is about the cerebral hemispheres. Now, the anterior part of the cerebral hemisphere, it is called olfactory bulb. Okay. First, I told you cerebrum, it is divided into two cerebral hemispheres, and each hemisphere again is divided into two parts, right and left cerebral hemisphere. And the anterior part of the cerebral hemisphere, it is called olfactory bulb. It is called olfactory bulb. Now, what is the function of the olfactory bulb? Olfactory bulb receive impulses from olfactory nerve. And students, olfactory nerve, we know it is coming from the nose, coming from the nose. And when olfactory bulb receive impulses from olfactory nerve and create the sensation of smell. Is it clear? Now the upper layer of the cerebral hemisphere, it is called cerebral cortex. It is called cerebral cortex, and this cerebral cortex, this one, you can say this is the outer part or upper layer of the cerebral hemisphere. It is called cerebral cortex, and it is mostly in gray light, gray matter. It consists of gray matter because gray matter of the nervous system consists of cell bodies and non-myelinated sheath. And beneath this layer, mean inner side of the cerebral hemisphere consists of white matter. Why? The white matter of nervous system because consists of myelinated axons. That's why due to the myelinated sheath, due to the presence of the myelinated sheath and due to the absence of the myelinated sheath, its color is changed. One is gray and in gray colors, in gray matter, myelinated sheath axons absent, and in white matter, myelinated axon present. Is it clear? Cerebral cortex, again, I told you before, this part is the largest part of the brain. So it has large surface, it covers large surface area of the brain, and it is folded in order to fit in the skull. So due to its folding, cerebrum is divided into four regions. These regions are called lobes. These regions are called lobes. There are four lobes, and these lobes are number one is frontal lobe, number two parietal lobe, and number three occipital lobe, number four temporal lobe. Okay, you can see here this is the whole part of the cerebrum, and there are many foldings and different colors, and these are the lobes of cerebrum. First one is frontal lobe. This frontal lobe. Now, what is the function of lobe? It controls the muscle movements and coordination during the speech. And second one is parietal lobe. Second one is parietal lobe. This one you can see here. What is the function of the parietal lobe? It receives all information coming from the skin. This one, okay? Now third one is occipital lobe. Third one is occipital lobe. What is the function of the occipital lobe? It receives VN information. And last one is temporal lobe. This one. Last one is temporal lobe. Now, what is the function of this lobe? It receives the information coming from hearing and a sense of smell. Is it clear? Because it is located near the ear. This is about whole about forebrain. Now, second is midbrain. Second is midbrain. Now, first of all, where it is located? Where it is located, midbrain, it is located between the forebrain and hindbrain. It is located between the forebrain and hindbrain, and its function is it receives sensory information and sends to the appropriate part of forebrain. Is it clear? And also it controls auditory reflexes and postures. Postures of you can say position of body. Now next number three. Number three is hindbrain. Number three is hindbrain. First of all, where it is located or what is its position? It is present at the back side of the brain. Present at the back side of the brain, hindbrain, and it consists of cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. Okay, these are the parts of hindbrain. One by one, we discuss these parts. First one is medulla oblongata. First one is medulla oblongata, and where it is located, the medulla oblongata is the lower portion of the brain stem. Is the lower portion of the brain stem, or you can say it lies on the top of the spinal cord. Is it clear? I mean, you can define it in two ways. Medulla oblongata is lower portion of the brain stem, or you can say on the top of the lies on the top of the spinal cord. Now, what is a brain stem? Brain stem is included medulla oblongata, pons, and a midbrain connects the rest of the body to spinal cord. And these all are collectively called brain stem. Okay. Now, next one is you can see here structure of medulla oblongata. This one. This is the medulla oblongata, and this is the one part of the hindbrain. Hindbrain consists of three parts: cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. Now, what about the medulla oblongata? It is very critical part of the brain because all involuntary actions are controlled by the brain, and these all involuntary actions are like breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. And these all actions are controlled by the medulla oblongata. Now, what happens when we are sleeping? That time, all parts of the brain are sleeping except medulla oblongata, because medulla oblongata is very critical part of our brain, and it controls all involuntary actions of the body. It controls all involuntary actions, meaning breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure controlled by the medulla oblongata. Is it clear? Now, next is second part of the hindbrain is cerebellum. Second part of the hindbrain is cerebrum. Cerebellum, you can say it is the second largest part of the brain, and it is located at the back side of the skull. And what is its function? Its function is it controls muscular movement in the body. And cerebellum, it is highly developed in birds. Why? Because its main function is it controls muscle movements of the body. And in birds, why it is highly developed? Because birds can fly. Birds can fly. And it is less developed in the children. It is less developed in the children. Here you can see this is the cerebellum. Okay. Now, third part of the hindbrain is pons. Third part of the hindbrain is pons. Pons mean bridge, and bridge means you can say assistant. It is the assistant of the medulla oblongata. It is assistant of the medulla oblongata, and it is located on top of the medulla. And its function is, I told you before, it is assistant of the medulla oblongata, and it assists or it helps um, to the medulla oblongata in breathing. Is it clear? Now, second part of our central nervous system is spinal cord. Second part of our central nervous system is spinal cord. Now, what is a spinal cord? Spinal cord is the continuation of medulla oblongata. Is it clear? What is a spinal cord? How you can define it? Spinal cord is the continuation of medulla oblongata, and it's from where it starts. It starts from the brain stem and extend to lower back. You can see here. This is the medulla oblongata. Sorry, spinal cord. This is the spinal cord, and spinal cord is the continuation of medulla oblongata, and its length is almost 40 centimeters. Spinal cord is long, how much? 40 centimeters, and it starts from brain stem and extend to lower back. And like brain, spinal cord is also covered by meninges. And brain is protected by cranium, but spinal cord, it is protected by the or surrounded by the vertebral column. Okay. The outer region of the, here you can see there are two regions. The outer region of the spinal cord is made up of white matter. White matter means myelinated axons. And this butterfly like structure, it is in gray color or gray matter, and it is made up of neuron cell bodies. Okay. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves arise along spinal cord. This is the spinal cord. From this spinal cord, how many nerves arising? 31 pairs of nerves arising from the spinal cord, and all these nerves are mixed in nature. All these nerves are mixed in nature. Cranial nerves are sensory, motor, and mixed in nature, but spinal nerves all are mixed in nature. Why? Because these nerves contain axons of both sensory and motor. Is it clear? That's why spinal nerves are mixed in nature. Now you can see the point from where a spinal nerve arises from the spinal cord. These are the nerves. One is dorsal root and another is ventral root. From the spinal cord, these are the two roots. These roots are called dorsal root and ventral root. And when these two roots unite, then form one mixed spinal nerve. Here, this is the mixed nerve. This is the mixed nerve. You can see in detail in next diagram here. Okay, I told you two roots are arising from here, from the spinal cord. One is dorsal root and another is ventral root. When these two roots unite together here, then form spinal nerve, and you can say it is a mixed nerve. Spinal nerve is mixed in nature. Is it clear? Dorsal root contains the sensory axon, and ventral root contains the motor axon. And when these two roots unite together, then form spinal nerve or motor nerve. Sorry, mixed nerve. Is it clear? Now, what is the function of the spinal cord? Spinal cord performs many functions. Number one is it serves as a link between body parts and brain, because it is the, you can say, center of the brain, and it is present between the brain and the body parts, so it connects body parts and the brain. And a spinal cord transfer or transmit nerve impulse from body parts to the brain and from brain to the body parts. Is it clear? Next function of the spinal cord is it acts as a coordinator. It acts as a coordinator, and it is responsible for all reflexes in the body. Is it clear? These all are the functions of the spinal cord, and this is the whole topic of our central nervous system. Central nervous system, it is composed of two components, brain and spinal cord. And we have studied in this lecture about both brain and spinal. Okay, students? Inshallah, next we will start new topic, that is a part of the second part of the nervous system. These two are the parts of central nervous system, and next topic is peripheral nervous system, that is the part of the nervous system. Inshallah, we will cover in our new lecture. Okay, okay, take care. Allah Hafiz.